Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the globalist cabal and their lefty flunky foot soldiers have created this fantasy, this ideological fantasy world where in their perverted, twisted cognizance, straight white males are the evil class. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of Hitlers. They are the evil class, and therefore anything they do, because they're already sort of guilty of evil, of absolute evil, of total evil, evil upon evil, and Nazi, fascist, white supremacists. They're already totally evil. So anything they do, even if it's a minor, tweet or a social media posting saying they don't agree with LGBTQ or trans or mass migration, anything like that, then because they're already at maximum evil, then that tweet or that social media post is then an expression of unspeakable evil upon evil upon evil. And so they're beginning, the launch pad, the beginning point is already someone who is evil, has evil in their heart, evil intent, the tent of Nazis. And so that tweet may be just pretty innocuous, saying, hey, I don't agree with that. I've got questions about that. No. That is an expression of evil from an already evil. They're already evil. So whatever they do is evil. Anything they do is evil. So that's the starting point. So I was listening to I think it was the dean of one of the major, or it's from one of the major universities in the United States. I think it was the dean. And they were talking about, and you had to sort of tease this out a little bit, but they were talking about what constitutes, bullying, harassment, racism, misogyny. So so all the so-called bad things that go on, and that they're supposed to be fighting back against Nazis. And why, if the straight white male says something, and then the black lesbian says exactly the same thing, why it's only racism or only evil if the straight white male says it, but if the black lesbian says it, then it's not. And it came up about demonstrations on campus in support of this is to do with the Middle East conflict at the moment, in support of, or at least demonstrating sympathy for Hamas in the Levant there in the Middle East. And some of the placards and some of the speakers and agitators and stirrers in the group, and it's a real rent-em op sort of group. Most of them wouldn't even have a clue why they're there, but they're when they call for example, phrases like from the river to the sea, things like that, when they're calling for effectively the dissolution of a sovereign state, and that it should be done with much loss of life and that sort of thing. Why is that acceptable on the university? If a bunch of straight white males got together and did it, it would be savagely dealt with, brutally dealt with. Why is it so tolerated? Not only tolerated, but encouraged. The resources of the university are at the disposal of these people to do this sort of. Why is that permitted? And why, if Party A does exactly the same thing, is it considered to be racism, contravenes the policy? The police have to be called in, and politicians have to make speeches about how terrible it is. Why, when it's the other way, when this, and then so well, look, you don't understand, you silly idiot. This is the dean of the university talking, who says, look, these people are already a minority. The straight white people are already evil. They're already, absolute maximum evil, fever pitch evil. So anything they do is evil, and they have evil intent, evil purpose. It is evil upon evil if straight white males do it. But if you're a minority group, then you don't have a starting point of being supremely and totally and utterly evil. Therefore, we can treat whatever they say as just the expression of an oppressed minority wanting to have a voice and to be heard. even though they said exactly the same thing as the other guys. Now, this comes back into concepts of, ideological concepts of what represents social power and how it's determined. And so because the president of the United States is a straight white male, that means all straight white males are presidents of the United States. So they all have this social power. I'm like, whoa, stop. Not every straight white male is president of the United States. That's absurd that they all have that sort of power. But they have symbolic power if it's not actual power. Symbolic power. I mean, the ideology is just insanity on steroids, but nonetheless, that's the ideology that these people hold. So this dean of the university is saying, well, it's okay if minorities do it. If Black Lives Matter burn down a few buildings and kill a few people, it's okay because it's a minority having a voice. And they're just trying to express, they're an oppressed minority that's not allowed to have a voice. They're fucking oppressed by the fucking Nazis and they just want to have a voice. So if they burn down a few buildings, kill a few people and pour hatred on white folks, then that's okay because they're only having a voice. They're not allowed to have a voice. So they're only having a voice. It's okay. Calm down, everybody. So what if a few people die and some buildings get burned? It doesn't matter because it's creating social equity somehow. Well, that bit they can't explain, but that's the inference. So I haven't quite grabbed this point before because it always intrigued me how if white people do it, suddenly it's terribly evil. But if the exact same thing is done by a minority group, be they brown or black or women or trans or whatever, then somehow it's not a problem. And everyone's talking about free speech. But when straight white males do it, suddenly everyone's talking about censorship. And I go, what? So this sort of opened up that window to me that I sort of guessed at this. And so I thought, I'd been figuring that something like this was going on, but it hadn't been expressed as directly as this dean at the university did, and others, by the way, that because white people begin from a starting point of total evil, then anything they do is bad. Whereas these other groups, they don't begin from a starting point of evil, therefore much more can be tolerated from them because they're not. Now, you could translate this into globalist terms saying, well, white people are a threat to the globalist project because we're effectively stealing from white people to fund the globalist project. So, of course, white people aren't going to be happy about it, particularly white males. And in order to push the globalist project, we're having to dismantle all the institutions, white institutions such as independent courts of law and free and fair elections and so on. And again, white people aren't like, so we have to pre-demonize them as being totally evil so that we deny them a voice in what we're doing and how we're destroying our white societies. This is the globalist project. So they have to do this, the globalists to do it. So it's all part of it, goes back into that wider narrative. But I just wanted to highlight this, that I didn't quite grasp that white people are viewed as a group of beginning from a point of maximum evil. Therefore, if they look sideways on a Sunday, that's it, Nazis. And we can see that how quickly the narrative jumps straight into white supremacist, Nazi, fascist, Hitler, how quickly it jumps into that. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.